So, welcome to episode 2 of Love Your Shelf. And I'm Crystal, and I'm here with Emily
Hello.
and Elia. She's joining us today.
Hello.
And our episode title this week is What Day Is It Anyway? Does anybody know?
I had to think about it.
I heard it was Tuesday.
That was the word on the street.
Word on the street. I don't think that's correct.
Yeah, I have no idea. And
I woke up thinking it was Thursday, just fully believing it was Thursday. And isn't that just the worst?
I thought that last week, all day on Friday, I was thinking it was Thursday. Like, not just in the morning, all day long.
That's the opposite, though. That's the best.
Yeah, no, that was fine. But it was very unnerving that I was so completely wrong.
Yeah.
So last week we had a little contest, and we chose a winner, and our winner this week was Moxie Madden, and she wins because she has the most awesome name.
Ugh,
right?
So jealous.
This is true.
It's a great
Moxie
name.
Madden, yes.
As someone with a really common name, Moxie Madden is just, it's a great name.
As someone with a name that is so uncommon, it's rarely said correctly. Moxie Madden.
Yep.
So,
well, and I was saying that her name is, she should be famous in some way, shape, or form, purely based on her name, because Moxie Madden works in any industry, I think.
Yeah, I think she should be like a comic book hero, like an alter ego, you know?
Yeah. I mean, yeah. Reach for the stars, Moxie.
You can do it, Moxie.
So congratulations to her. And we'll announce this week's contest later on. But since we're just, hanging out here at the library surrounded by all these books that aren't currently being read by anyone, we figured that we would prepare you for when you can read again by telling you what we're reading right now. So, Emily, what's on your shelf?
Yeah, so I'm actually listening to The Goldfinch by Donna Tartt. Is it a classic? It's newer, but anyway.
It won a lot of prizes, yeah.
Right. I mean, if it's not a classic now, it will be. But yeah, I actually do have a physical copy of the book. But I've just been wanting something to listen to, and I'm so glad I am. I'm really picky about the narrators in my audiobooks, and I really love this narrator. He just has such a soothing voice. And the story's great so far. It's taking me a while to get through it because I live 5 minutes away from work, but I really love it. I've been listening to it around the house, and it's a great book.
Yeah, I read it when it came out and really enjoyed it. It's very good. And they're making a movie version, or they have made a movie version.
Yeah. And I can't speak. I'm glad I didn't see the movie. I'm glad I'm reading the book first.
Yes, I always recommend that. Well, not most of the time.
Yeah.
How about you, Elia?
Right now, I'm reading a number of different gardening books, but the one that I'm on right now is The Soil Food Web, or it's also known as Compost Tea for Beginners by Elaine Ingham, and she's the one of the few like horticulturalists who said we need to focus more on gardening our soil instead of just gardening the things that come out of the soil. And she's brought up a lot of attention to how much topsoil we've lost in the United States and how you can grow. There's like microbiological life in every bit of soil, including sand. And the way that we are gardening and farming now, we're just kind of ignoring the soil. And so when we do that, we put a whole bunch of like inputs into the soil, and that's where you get the washing out into the rivers and algae blooms and stuff like. It's very interesting. Very interesting stuff. If you're into that sort of thing, no one's gonna make a movie about it, I guess, is what I'm trying to say. Keanu Reeves is not going to star in the next adventure on how to get your microbial life up in the soil. But
It's not
Okay.
true that they aren't making movies about this, because Elia just put out a video for the library all about fertilizer, and we got to see her very own compost tea.
That's right. All of that, the stuff that I did for fertilizer and everything, it's inspired in part by Elaine Ingham and her work. So that's why I'm rereading the book to make sure that I'm still on the right path. And it looks like I am. She's very interesting. She's not too scientific in her writing, so pretty much anyone can pick up on it. It's very
And
good
what was
reading.
the title again?
Compost Tea, and it's by Elaine Ingham. But you can also look up Soil Food Web by Elaine Ingham, and she's all over that. There's lots of free videos and articles and everything else. She's really good lady.
All right. Well, I actually have an enormous reading list right now, because when we closed the library, I was so optimistic that I was going to spend time reading, which hasn't really panned out so much. But
I mean, not in the way you were imagining.
No,
in
not
that
in the
you'd be
way.
doing it constantly.
Right, exactly. I mean, that was my hope. That's always my hope.
Absolutely.
But so I requested a whole bunch of galleys, advanced copies to read of books that are coming out this year, and yeah, I've started one of them. So the one that I'm reading now is called The Only Good Indian, and it's by Stephen Graham Jones. And I actually used to know him, or he was my professor.
Ooh, dropping names.
Yeah.
Wow.
And and it's actually it's a really good book. It's in the horror genre, or horror genre is a little, it's kind of a tricky genre, because that could mean anything from Stephen King to, Dean Koontz, or things like that. And this is, I think, at least so far, I'm not quite finished, but it's more subtle than that. It's really more like psychological.
Yeah.
And
I like suspense.
yeah, so I definitely, so far, I'm really recommending it, and I'm looking forward to going. I'll probably try to finish it tonight, actually.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. And so our next little section, I'm curious about, we're talking about what we're reading, obviously, but a lot of us are also into, of course, we're watching stuff and listening to podcasts and things like that. So is there anything you want to share about what you're listening to or watching now?
I'll go. I've been listening to the Office Ladies podcast. If you are an Office fan, which I've joked that The Office is like America's favorite show. So yeah, if you're an Office fan, I definitely recommend it. It's Jenna Fisher and Angela Kinsey, who plays Angela, and Pam Beasley on The Office, and they start at episode number 1, and they watch the episode and sort of give the inside scoop, like, things that happened while they were filming.
Okay,
I'm sorry.
There.
Do I need to start over?
I would start.
Huh? No, I've still got you.
Oh, okay, great.
I said I've still got you on here.
Anyway,
you didn't.
You're not disconnected. But yeah, start over saying like, with whatever you said right after saying their character names.
Oh, okay. Okay, so it's Angela Kinsey and Jenna Fisher, who play Angela and Pam on The Office. And they say in their introduction that they are best friends in real life. And so their chemistry is really fun. And that, they rewatch the episode and give you the inside scoop of what happened while they were filming. And it's been so fun. I've been trying to sort of watch along. I'm not, I'm not watching every single episode, but when I can get one in, it's really cool. I really recommend it. It's been really comforting for me.
They are super cute, and so I'm really glad that you mentioned that, because I didn't know that was a thing, and now
it's great. And I feel like I think they started it not very long ago, so I feel like the timing was really appropriate. It's been a great quarantine podcast.
Cool. And just like touching on the connection with The Office, have y'all seen John Krasinski's Some Good
Yes,
News?
so sweet. I love it.
Yeah, I think that is, if you haven't watched that, do yourself a favor. And I think there's like 5 or 6
Yeah.
episodes now, and so it's definitely
Yeah,
worth
I need
it.
to catch up. My sister was telling me that he did sort of a prom episode since, they're high school students who can't go to prom this year. So, but she was saying it's really great that he sort of like hosts his own prom. And yeah, I want to go back and watch that episode.
Yes, it's really good. What about you, Elia?
Well, on the opposite end of the spectrum, I've been binge watching The Sopranos, and it's actually pretty funny that you mentioned the Office podcast with the 2 actors, because The Sopranos has actually got the same thing going. And I think they're on like episode 3, and it's Michael Imperioli who played Christopher Moltisanti on the show, and I can't remember the other guy's name, but he played Bobby Bacala, and the guy who plays Michael Imperioli is probably one of the most knowledgeable people about films
He's super smart.
I've ever seen. Just be so casual about it, and it's just, so far it seems like Mr. Bobby doesn't mind talking over Mr. Imperioli, but it's getting a lot of traction. I think once they kind of knock the kinks out, they'll be better, because the Office Ladies podcast, they're friends in real life. So it's a little different, and it's also a little strange to see people that are like stuck in your mind as being, a certain age in like the 90s or whatever, and then you see them now and you're like, okay, they're actual real people, and they age too. And it's been really, especially watching The Sopranos now, it's really funny because it's a very depressing show, but it's also hilarious, and it's really interesting to see how things still can relate. And you can also see the change of like how the show went from late 90s, early 2000s, and then September 11th happens. And it's interesting to see kind of like the dynamics of things change. And I've been watching a lot of stuff from sort of that late 90s, early 2000s era.
Absolutely.
And maybe it's just nostalgia for me right now. Yeah, but it's been quite entertaining to watch that kind of stuff from way back then, because then there's so many moments where you're just like, ooh, and then wait 6 months and oh my gosh, everything kind of changes. So and that's what I've been doing, and watching all the bleak stuff and feeling reminiscent of days gone by. But it's been very comforting. I know, like, my mom would probably say, oh, why are you watching all that sad stuff? I don't really think it's sad.
It's great,
especially
television.
Now when it seems like it's so easy to be sad or depressed or something when you watch something like that. But honestly, it's really not. You kind of see it from a different perspective. In times of crisis,
I think for me, it's kind of like, well, at least that's not happening to me. Specifically with The Sopranos, I would say.
Yeah, there's a line in that show there's a couple of lines that really resonate. One is it's just the everydayness of life. When Christopher is asked, like, why is he so depressed? Why does he feel like he needs to turn to such negative things? It's just the everydayness of life that gets to you. And then the next one, Chris is talking to Paulie, and he asks him, have you ever felt like nothing good was ever going to happen in your life? And Paulie says, yeah, nothing did, so what? That comforts me, and it makes me feel a lot better about a lot of things. So yeah.
Well, now I think that the title of the episode shouldn't be "What Day Is It Anyway," but "The Everydayness of Life."
Yeah.
That's perfect.
And can I get that on a T-shirt or something too? It's a great phrase.
Everydayness of life.
What about you, Crystal?
I did a deep dive on YouTube last night, watching the chefs from the Bon Appetit Test Kitchen.
Yes,
that gasp.
Yes,
I love those guys.
And so now they're all doing their videos from home, as we all are, and it is, first of all, you get to see the kitchens of all of these amazing
Yep.
chefs, and they are funny. And there's also, of course, they're making like quarantine food, you know,
Mm-hmm.
like what to do with the stuff in your
Yes.
pantry, you know. And so it's amazing.
Yeah, I heard. Oh, go ahead.
Which one? Who's your favorite? Oh, I was saying, who is her favorite chef? Mine is Gabby.
Mine's Brad.
Brad is hilarious. He's very,
Yes.
very good. That's a tight one between Gabby
Man,
and
I feel
Brad.
so
Or
lame
Claire.
because I recently heard about this on another podcast that I listened to, actually. And I have no idea, but I'm intrigued. So
Yes.
next
Brad
time I'll know
does.
who Brad is and I'll feel cool.
Yes, Brad does. Even before all this, he did a little web show called "It's Alive," and it's all like fermented stuff.
Oh my gosh, that's funny. Great
Yeah.
title.
Yes, and so I would definitely check all those
Oh, I
out.
love that.
Yeah, go to the Bon Appetit YouTube channel. There's It's Alive with Brad, and then there's, I think it's called Claire Creates, where she recreates like Pop-Tarts or
Oh,
Doritos
cool.
or Takis.
Yeah, I watched the one last night. She
Yeah.
made Cadbury cream eggs.
Oh, I need to watch that one. I haven't seen
Yeah.
that one yet.
It's pretty cool. Like she really tries to recreate those things, but like with the Cadbury cream eggs, she was like, "I'm gonna recreate it, but I'm gonna make it where it tastes good."
Right.
So that kind of answers this next question, at least for me, a little bit. But so what's making you happy this week? That's kind of our last segment of the cast.
All right, I'll go. And it's a little wacky. There is a group on Facebook, and I'm sure, I mean, I kind of heard about it a little bit later in the game, but it's a group on Facebook, and it's called something like a group where we all pretend to be ants in a colony. And I thought it was bonkers when I first heard about it. But I actually sort of looked at it for myself by accident. I came upon it, and it is hilarious and weirdly kind of heartwarming. Like everyone, somebody will post like, "Hey guys, I just found a Cheeto. Can you guys come help me like bring it to the queen?" And so people will comment and just say lift or on my way, or yeah, so it's hilarious. And I don't know, it's sort of, I don't know, I feel like the country is so divided right now, and this is a small, strange little group of people supporting each other, and I appreciate it, and it also makes me giggle.
Yeah, I saw that, and I thought how bonkers it was. But
I mean, truly, whoever came up with it, I mean,
yeah, but it kind of, there's a kind of sense to it too, like I kind of get it.
Yeah, it's really funny.
What's making you happy this week, Elia?
Okay, I'm gonna draw this out a little bit because I want the people to be like super excited for the name that I'm going to say, and you guys will probably figure it out before. But when I was a little kid, my mom would make us watch this guy on TV, and he was super into science, and he became kind of like the millennials science person when it came to this particular thing. And I hadn't seen this person in so long, but I'd always remembered what this person taught me about mono-use items and such like that. So when I saw that Alton Brown was away from Food Network and doing his own thing, and I saw how hilarious that guy actually can be, I was watching those quarantine kitchens like nobody's business. Him and his wife and Scabigail, his dog, are hilarious. And I have never seen Alton Brown curse, but when he tried to open up the champagne bottle with a knife, like he's been doing that forever. That's his thing. He has a whole video on YouTube in like his front yard of him showing you exactly how to open a champagne bottle with a sword. So he was just casually doing it in the kitchen, and the thing shattered and just exploded everywhere. And of course he said a bad word, but he look like a little kid just said it in church, like, oh my God, all the kids who watched me are gonna hate me now. And his wife is just because she knows the deal. And so it's just so funny to see him. And you can also see he'll show you like, oh, Good Eats reruns. We're gonna watch them together, and he'll set his phone behind him and his wife, and she'll be sitting, and then he'll look behind like, see, look, this is the part where, and it's just it just brings a giant smile to my face, because that's how you know it's passion, and he wasn't just doing it for a paycheck. Like, he's just in his house, him and his wife, they'll play guitar and
He's
sing
just having
together.
fun.
They're just amazing.
Wait, what was
I
the
love
title
that.
though?
Fun.
Okay.
Quarantine Kitchen, and kitchen is spelled with a Q-U-I. But if you just look up Alton Brown, Alton Brown, on YouTube, you're going to find a whole bunch of stuff. And I recommend anybody, whether you're an experienced cook or not, to watch any and all of Good Eats, because it'll tell you the science behind why you boil water first before you put the eggs in there to hard boil them or something like that. You know, he'll tell you the whole thing. It's very fun. And also he has like a few hard and fast rules that I've always applied to a lot of things. Like, in the kitchen, don't just get something that you can use for just one thing. Like, don't just have something sitting in your kitchen. This is our pizza roaster. Like, why would you even have that? Don't use it.
In
Don't
my
use
experience,
that.
it's always
only
a
use
mistake.
something
Yep.
at least. Yeah, and so it's just he's just a great guy to watch. Him and his wife and his dog Scabigail, they're great. And yes, it is Scabigail. I thought he was making a mistake too. It's Scabigail.
That's funny.
Well, it's funny. We are very food forward this week. I guess we're very hungry. So we're not starving. We are all eating, so don't worry about us. But
it's not eating enough.
My thing this week is that with Amazon Prime, they are giving it away, I guess, like for a year of Food Network something or other, like Food Network Kitchen or something like that. I wish I could remember the name. I think it's just that, but because I pulled it up. I have the Fire Stick, and so I pulled it up, and it said, "Do you want a year free of Food Network Kitchen?" I was like,
yes.
Yeah. So it sounds like both of you would also enjoy that if you have that option.
Oh, I'm taking notes.
Yeah. I've seen it. I just didn't know it was a year. That's crazy. I guess I didn't pay attention to it, but Food Network Kitchen for a year.
And so it's kind of, I haven't completely explored it yet because I was in the Bon Appetit kitchen, but there seems to be like just tons of old episodes and things like that. Just looks like a lot of content.
Nice. Oh, that's great.
Yeah. So we're all gonna have to have dinner when all this is over and cook for each other, because we're gonna be great at it.
Right.
Gosh, I hope so.
So I think that pretty much wraps us up for this week. We're glad to have Elia with us. Thanks for joining
Celebrity guest star.
Woo! Thank you. Yep, celebrity guest star Elia Ali. Thank you for having me, Jay, Jimmy.
Oh,
thank you.
As in Fallon.
And so, for our contest for this week, I think we all want to know what is making all of you out there, all of our many, many listeners out there, happy. So if you can comment or send us a message about what's making you happy this week, we'll share, and we will pick a winner for next time.
You'll get a shout out.
Yeah.
Sweet.
Okay, so that's gonna wrap it up for us.
Bye, everybody.
Yeah.
Love your shelf.
Bye. Yeah, love yourself, girl and
Bye,
boy.
y'all.